Hello again, welcome to the MasterCAM course. In that lecture, we're going to talk about roughing process. Before the roughing process, actually, I need to turn back to wireframe options, and then I'm going to hit the bounding back options, and then I need to select all the solid body and hit the enter button, and then you're going to see the sum boundary. And after that, I can create line endpoints. You're going to see here, and then we can use the transform and move the origin options, and then I just need to select and let me midpoint of that line, and then we can easily create that entities. And after that, actually, we can and turn to all color options, and then we can select the wireframe color and delete all of the line by hitting the actually delete button. Anyway, this is our actually process. Okay, let's create our boundary. How can we create our boundary? I'm gonna start with the 2D and Z-axis 25 millimeter, and then I'm gonna turn to the wireframe, and then I prefer to use curve all edges, and then I just need to select that face and hit the OK button, and then we're gonna get our boundary like this. Actually, when we consider our roughing process, and that chain is not important. Okay, let me focus on this part. I also need to do curve on edge options, and then I need to select this part and hit the OK button. So similarly, I need to turn to the line, and then I just need to delete this one and this one. And after that, we can turn to the chain options again to delete all of them. Okay, that part is also enough for us. So yeah, I think that's enough. Okay, let's talk about this one, curve on edge options, and then I just need to select, and that's one, and then we're gonna get that kind of and boundary easily. And then we can also select this one and delete all of them. Anyway, let's start with this one. Okay, let me save my file. And then let me create my machine. And after that, I'm gonna use the mill toolpath and 3D high-speed toolpath, and then I prefer to use dynamic and roughing process. So after that, this is the toolpath type. It is selected as a dynamic. If you would like to use the area roughing, you're gonna see that what is the differences between that toolpath actually. This one and this one. If you would like to use the area roughing, so this kind of toolpath is better for you. Okay, this is the dynamic opt and optimize actually rough, and you can also see the area roughing. So area roughing can be better for our cases. And then we can turn to the toolpath control. When we turn to the toolpath control, we need to organize our boundary. We need to select our boundary. This is going to be my boundary. One boundary is selected. As a strategy side, we can decide that from outside, or we can also select the stay inside options. So I'm going to select stay inside options as a strategy side. And then we can also decide that our and the tool and center of my tool and my boundary. Okay, it can be center of my and the boundary. And after that, let me turn to the tool options. I just need to create my tool. That is going to be my tool. It can be 10 millimeter and 2.5 millimeter radius. And after that, we can also organize our stock, but I don't want to interest rest material right now. I just want to focus on the cut parameters. In the cut parameters, we need to decide that our cut style. Our cut style can be conventional machining and zigzag machining. And then we can decide that our step down process. Our step down process can be 3 millimeter. If you intend to organize your step down process, you need to activate that parameters. For example, I can write here my step down parameters can be reduced to 0.3 millimeter according to my step over. If my step over 1 millimeter, and then my step down is automatically reduced to the 0.3 millimeter. And this is also my step over. Okay, it's not necessary right now. So and I'm not gonna use that stuff. And this is actually only step down process. Okay, and let me turn here, and all of them can be stay exactly the default settings. And then let me calculate my toolpath. Okay, I forgot to organize my surface. I'm gonna turn to here. This is the machining geometry. We need to focus on here, and this is the model geometry actually. So I'm gonna hit that part. Sorry. Select entities, and then let me focus here, and then I'm gonna select all that face, and you can see that all that face is created automatically. Okay, we can delete this part. Anyway, let's recalculate our toolpath. And this is calculated, and you're gonna see that my toolpath is calculated like this. So we prefer to use, actually when we turn to the toolpath control, we prefer to use the stay inside. Let's try to use from outside options. Okay, it's gonna calculate it right now. And it is calculated, and you're gonna see all the retract movement here. So we're gonna start from actually outside of the boundary, and then we're gonna create our toolpath like this. To be able to understand our process, maybe it will be better for us to change our cut parameters. I should make them 5 millimeter. And then we're gonna see that's kind of toolpath. Okay, so we can see and G0 movement here. Okay, let me turn to the toolpath control, and we can change that as a strategy. We can stay inside. Okay, and then we can recalculate our toolpath. Yeah, that one is, I think, better than the previous one. So this is actually our high-speed roughing process. When we turn to the toolpath type, we can easily turn to the dynamic opt and rough process. So that's also quite important. You can easily change your toolpath in an 3D high-speed toolpath. So this is also parameters and parametric approach here. Okay, let's focus on this part. When we focus on this part, we can also create and 3D surface high-speed toolpath and area roughing. And then we can easily select our face. We can use the right mouse button and select entities options. We can turn here. And then we can easily select our model and hit the enter button. And 100 and face selected. And this is going to be my toolpath type. And we also need to decide that our boundary. My boundary can be this one. We can prefer to use stay inside options here. Actually, And this is my actually compensation type, and consider with the boundary. Of course, we prefer to use this stuff, and that's going to be my and feed rate and my actually cutting speed. And then I don't want to use any stock recognition. And as a cut parameters, I prefer to use the conventional machining, and we can also prefer to use zigzag method. And as a step down, we can prefer to use the 5 millimeter, and that's enough. And according to my geometry, actually we're gonna get and the different roughing process here. You can see that that is actually quite enough toolpath for us actually. Okay, let me turn to actually, and this part we are working to 2D, and then wireframe options. We can easily create and new boundary like this actually, and then we can easily select to and 3-axis area roughing process. And then when we turn to here, we can easily select our model like this. And this is going to be my toolpath. And toolpath control, maybe we should prefer to use stay from outside options. We can also organize our boundary. My boundary can be like this, and then I prefer to use the from outside options. And that's going to be my tool, and cut parameters is the same. Okay, let me calculate my toolpath. Okay, it is calculated right now. You're going to see that my toolpath process is calculated like this. Maybe it will be better for us to change and this stuff here. I can use the modify length options. Maybe we should extend our geometry. Let me use this stuff here. Maybe we should extend our boundary. It's a 10 millimeter for this one and this one. Maybe another 10 millimeter. Maybe we should also change our boundary. Anyway, I'm gonna delete this part. And then I just start from here to here. And then I just need to create my radius. My radius can be 6 millimeter. This one and this one. And then we can turn to here. We can turn to the toolpath control, and we can delete this boundary. And then we're gonna add new boundary here. And then my toolpath is recalculated automatically. Okay, it is calculated right now. Let me check my toolpath. Yes, we can also see here, and we prefer to use the outside, so that's why. And my boundary is and to move to the outside of the boundary is the entry process. So that part is actually quite important. Okay, we can also see the rapid movement here. Maybe we can also change that by focusing and actually linking parameters. There's a retract position we can prefer to use, and 3 millimeter incremental, and maybe we should also prefer to use the full and vertical retract options. Actually, let me check that stuff here. Yeah, that part is I think better than the previous one. Anyway, so yeah, that's quite important for roughing process. And If you also would like to organize your and step down parameters, you can easily organize it. And actually, what else can I say here? We can also organize wall stock here. This is the 1 millimeter. We can also make them 0.25 millimeter for and this stuff. And it is calculated. We can easily turn to here to make that stuff like this. We can also unselect this part if you don't want to calculate your toolpath. You can easily turn back to here, and you can also make them 0.15, and then you can also unselect this part, and then you can hit that button to recalculate all your dirty operation.